There's a threat in the world today. A threat to our way of living, a threat to our society, and maybe even a threat to our very existence. And what is this threat?
Again, we are Black and White Sports, and we're two guys talking sports, and we are downtown Indianapolis at the Stadium Tavern,
802 Southwest. Hold on, do that again. Ready? Go.
Downtown at the Stadium Tavern,
802
Southwest Street,
Indianapolis, Indiana. That was great. I love that button.
You can't cut off my cemetery laugh.
Knob.
Give me back my cemetery laugh.
That's great.
Those of y'all who grew up in there, you know exactly who cemetery is.
Right. Who doesn't know cemetery?
All right, so we're going to switch gears.
Yes.
We're going to switch gears. We're going to get into the hardwood.
I just want to say here, I'm going to start out the segment.
Yeah.
Roy Williams signs another 8-year extension with the Tar Heels, and he's going to be 76 years old when that contract is up.
That's great. And John Buzzard is awesome. That did sound like Space Jams. We've been waiting on John.
Bam. John Wayne.
Pow, pow. Buzzard.
Oh, hold on. Hold on. Yeah. John Wayne. I like it.
But, okay.
Welcome back, folks.
Welcome back. So, we're going to switch gears. We're going to jump over to basketball.
Yes, sir.
So, there's a lot going on. NCAA's is really in full force now. A couple of the conferences have started conference play.
Say that again.
The NCAA.
No.
A couple of the conferences.
There you go.
Have started conferences.
It sounded like that. It sounded like that last shot came right back up a little bit. Conferences.
Conferences.
It's all right. I won't hold it against you. But I will hold it anybody that's a Michigan fan.
Yeah, hater. But anyway, okay, there's a couple Go Blues.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah.
Chris is going to chime in here in a minute. I'm pretty sure he is. So, we had the let's jump. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Oh. We are at segment 2, Black and White Sports, downtown Stadium Tavern.
We're doing menus tomorrow.
Angie, our fabulous bartender. Let's talk about the specials real quick.
The specials are
last
awesome.
week, last Tuesday, apparently Miss Angie got pounded pretty hard. Taco Tuesday.
That's what we're talking about, folks. I don't know where your mind went, but my mind went to Taco Tuesday.
Went straight to Taco Tuesday.
Right.
Yep, and a couple people that were interested came back this week.
Yes.
So Taco Tuesdays was a hit.
Good.
And shout out to all my Olive Garden people.
Olive Garden.
East Washington Street.
There you go.
Right.
There you go.
I'm going to say shout out to the workers.
Yeah, shout out to the
We're
workers.
going to shout out to the workers.
There you go.
Yes. I love you. You love
There you go.
me.
But they are really making my Tuesdays really.
We're awesome.
Good,
Won't you guys come on down and help Angie out?
Yes.
You guys get around, all the Olive Garden up there.
Mhm.
Say my name and where I'm
There you
from,
go.
and tell them that I sent you there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Shout out. Olive Garden.
East Washington.
Olive Garden.
I'm biting my tongue right now, folks.
Yeah. That's why I'm shouting out the workers at Olive Garden. We're not going to shout out Olive Garden. This is an Italian over here. You going to tell an Italian about Olive Garden?
No, hey, we'll show you love just because of that.
Yes. Olive Garden, East
And
Washington Street.
we also have Thirsty Thursdays here with Wing Thursdays for, well, do you still have it? 35-cent wings. Carry out is not negotiable. Dine-in only. Right here, 802 Southwest Street, Stadium Tavern.
So,
and on Wednesdays,
we got we got burgers and tots, $4 burgers and tots, and $4 pints. And again, Angie will be here.
yes.
And then we switch shots up.
Okay, hold on. Hold on. She's going to say hi this week.
Hello.
Say hi this week.
I don't want to get on the mic. I'll just say hi. Hi, guys.
Hi, Angie.
Hi, people. You guys come see me.
See us.
See us.
Us.
On Wednesdays, every Wednesday,
Actually,
7:30.
I'm actually here all the time.
All the time.
So,
All the
but
time.
I am going to be gone next week.
Where are you
I'm
going?
leaving Saturday.
Where you
I'm
going?
going to take my children to Florida for Christmas.
Oh. So who's going to be our bartender next week?
I'm sorry, but I cannot tell you that because I do not know.
Oh,
Is it the other girl or is it B Rob?
No,
man.
Brandy. Are you talking about Brandy?
I don't
Randy
know.
just had
Brandy is
surgery,
on.
yeah.
She's the one who just had surgery, so she will not be here. Might be Rob. Might be. I don't know.
Well,
It won't
whatever it
be-
is, we'll be here.
Yeah, we'll be here.
You guys will miss me.
She's
a
bailing
lot.
on us.
Yeah, she's
But maybe we can get a via satellite from the beach.
There you go.
You guys can live. Yes, we'll do Facebook Live down there or something. I'll FaceTime you guys or something, and you guys can.
Awesome.
Wonderful. I love it.
Hey, John just said that Roy Williams is going to end up weekend at Bernie's.
God, really, dude? Damn, man.
Hey, but tell me, name me one coach that's
hold on.
better dressed than Roy Williams. Maybe Jay Wright.
Man, Jay Wright has nothing on Roy Williams.
Hey, Roy Williams can pull off a
Nothing.
tweed plaid jacket like no other.
And he can rip that son of a
With
bitch
the
off
Jordan
and start. You see him?
and then vertigo.
How you like that win against Gonzaga, though?
I was impressed
Boom.
because Carolina was looking bad with that ass whipping they took to Michigan.
Very much so. But it was like 3 weeks ago. Why are you still on
And
it?
why are you still talking about Gonzaga?
It was just this past. It was
It was
since the last show.
What so?
It was since the last show, dude.
I don't care.
Anyway,
Well,
hey,
you still
we
talking
wanna-
about Philly. But anyway,
They're still
basketball.
playing. Hold on here. Circle City Cryogenics. Brian Tomlinson, the owner, is sitting here watching us, joining us, listening to us. Y'all need to check them out if you want some brake rotors, razor blades. Anything and every pantyhoses, anything and everything that you want froze to last longer. Check out Circle City Cryogenics.
Well, I ain't gonna lie to you. Brian looks like he's a little more interested in this pastry.
Well, yeah, because the Pacers are beating that ass right now, 30-22. But
And
you know
then
what? I like it.
we got IU over here that's up 43-27 on Central
As they
Arkansas.
should. As they
No,
should be.
let me say it properly. Central Arkansas.
Yeah, that's the black in you.
Arkansas.
Oh boy, he's checking out, folks. I don't know what he's doing over there.
I'm reading.
Oh, don't read. It takes too long. Hey, I just want to say one thing.
Yeah, the wife says she's gonna come out of retirement and work the bar that week.
Bam! There we go.
All right, she's gonna do the Fridays bar championships and start spinning bottles and stuff.
I just want to say one thing. Free throws make or break you. We said it We said it last week with IU, right? We said free throws make or break you, especially when you get towards the tournament. Are you leaving?
Yes.
Bye, sis. Hold on here. I'll give you.
Yep. There goes Angel.
Hi.
Angel.
Who's your football team?
She is the only.
Titans.
She is the only Titans fan in the city.
Bye, Angel.
She might be the only Texans fan, the Titans fan within 200 square miles.
Maybe. I don't know. Once you get south, you might get a little.
I don't know.
Because it's only like 90 miles to Louisville, so you go another 100 there. You're
Isn't it
getting
amazing
there.
that Kentucky has no professional team?
Whoa.
How
Man, I about
disgraceful
said
are
something.
you?
I about
We're not
said-
even a real state.
I about said something,
Yeah.
and I didn't. I bit my tongue. I stopped. My wife has taught me well.
Hello, Eli. Hello, Eli. Well, it's taken them 10 years to do it.
Well, I'm stubborn like that.
But anyway,
What's happening?
All right, let's talk about the Pacers for a second.
Yes.
Because the Pacers have been they were riding a 7-game winning streak.
Yep.
Going into last night's home game against Cleveland.
Yep.
They lose.
Yeah.
Last second tap in by Larry Nance Jr.
Yep.
Me personally, I think I told the wife that they were going to lose that game in the first quarter.
But here's my thing. It does not matter what you look like in the first quarter. It matters how you end.
Well, apparently it does because I saw it.
No, because if he would have made his damn free throws, we wouldn't be in this talk.
If they'd have played like they were supposed to be, the free throws shouldn't even came in the
that's
picture.
besides the point. But the free throws was what lost the game right then.
What it came down to, you shouldn't have been in that situation. The free throws to come in the head.
No, that's a bad loss.
Because you're coming in, you're on the 7-game winning streak, and you're coming into Cleveland, who doesn't have Tristan Thompson, who doesn't have Kevin Love,
and they lose to a 7-win team.
And you lose.
Yeah.
So that lets me know that you were excited about your Philly win, excited about your 7-game winning streak, and you knew you had Toronto tonight.
Yep.
So you did not pay attention.
Yep.
To Cleveland, and you lost.
Yeah, that's a bad loss.
So now the hottest team in the league is New Jersey Nets.
That's bad.
And the biggest talk of the town is Jared Allen blocking LeBron at the rim.
I was wondering if you saw that, man.
Oh, yeah, I
saw
it.
He said,
Oh, yeah, I saw it. But I don't think that was the best block of the night.
I must have missed it.
Yeah, you missed it. It was Zion Williams from Duke who blocked my guy's shot.
That's why I missed it.
His face on the rim.
Ooh.
I'll post it later. Tonight.
You gotta check that one out.
Zion Williams hit his face on the rim while blocking the shot in the game last night. When he put his hand up, the sports analyst, blah blah blah, Sports Center science thing, blocked it off, and his hand was up 11.8 feet in the air and hit his face.
Oh, damn.
On the rim.
Ouch.
He is a genetic mutant. He is what LeBron James would have been if he went to college. And here's the key. Here's the funny part about it.
Hold on. What did you just say?
He would have been what LeBron James would have been if he'd went to college.
Okay, so that brings up a question.
That physically dominant over the other players. LeBron James would have been the same way if he'd actually signed.
I see what you're saying. I got you.
Yeah.
You know,
it's crazy. But here's the funny thing about it. He wasn't even the best player coming out of high school. Coming out of the class of 2018, he was not the best player in college and in high school basketball.
Who do you say was?
Well, it was his teammate.
That's so unfortunate. The Duke got three of the top 3 recruits.
They got the 3 top recruits.
Yeah.
Out of the class of 2018.
That's rough.
Number 4 is over here at IU with Romeo Langford, who is up 48-34 on Central Arkansas.
God damn, can you talk tonight?
No, okay. Let's get back into some basketball. So, I know we talked about a little bit of the Gonzaga thing over the weekend on the page. I know earlier in the year you spoke about Gonzaga.
Mike Hyde? How you doing, Doc?
Yeah, you spoke about Gonzaga, why they rank so high and blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. And I kind of came at you like, well, they've kind of shown them their worth. Yeah. And they proved themselves to where they are. And the next thing you know, they're the number 1 team.
Yeah.
They hit number 1 and they lose 2 games right away.
Yep.
You know, I mean, the North Carolina game, they looked pretty bad.
They handled them.
Credit Cameron Johnson played outstanding.
Yes.
He was shooting the ball ridiculously from the outside, which is what he is. He's a shooter. Gonzaga is a long haul team.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to lose a couple games. And that's the beauty of college basketball. You can be number 1 3 times in the same season.
And
it won't really affect you because their national tournament actually means something.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. But I also say that there's no team that's going to go undefeated in this era right now, in college basketball, I should say.
Well, at least not in men's.
No, and
the women's is getting better at it. The parity. UConn hasn't gone undefeated.
UConn and Notre Dame were the 2 years.
They haven't done it a couple years. Neither is South Carolina with Don Staley down there coaching them,
right.
who is the women's coach for the Olympic team.
Yep.
But you'll get a better shot of a team going undefeated in women's college basketball than you in men. The parity is ridiculous within the conferences. But then again, you still have these mid-majors that these Power 5 conferences are playing that are losing to. Yeah. Like Syracuse lost last night to Buffalo. Granted, Buffalo is ranked higher, or actually Buffalo is ranked, but Syracuse is a Power 5 conference.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're in the Big East.
And in basketball.
Yeah, they're in the Big East in basketball. I mean,
right. And then
the Big East is, well, yeah, they're in the ACC. Yeah, the Big East, I mean, in basketball used to be, I mean, that was.
Syracuse is in the ACC all the way around. They're not in the Big East.
That's
right.
Now they are, yeah. ACC. But the Big East used to be the conference of power in NCAA basketball. You know, you had Georgetown, you had Syracuse, you had Villanova, you know, all these teams. Romeo is a distant fourth. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, yeah.
He said Zion plays on a nerve hoop. I completely agree. That's exactly what it looks like when he plays out there. Like he's playing on a nerve hoop. I agree. And Romeo Langford's a little better than what people are giving him credit for.
He just haven't shown it.
You know what I mean? He hasn't really shown it. He was great at attacking the rim.
Yeah.
Where he reminds me of is like he was from the East Coast. A guard who dribbles well and attacks the rim well. He doesn't fit the Midwest Indiana profile. Yeah.
Okay.
He doesn't fit the Midwest Indiana profile where we're more rounded.
Right.
Shooting, dribbling, attacking, paint work. Overall game,
right.
We're more rounded. You know, each part of me playing in each part of the country, I've seen that each part of the country has its perks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? East Coast, you're more guard oriented.
Right. I mean, Midwest to me, you're
South,
more Midwest. You're more big man. You know, go in it.
Yeah, the South is more athletic.
Yeah.
The West tends to be a little more athletic, not as much as the South.
I'd say outside
the Midwest seems to be more rounded.
Right.
They have it all.
Right. But what I'm saying is, you go back to like the 90s. You know, you had an actual big man.
Right.
You know, nowadays you don't have that big man that you once had. You know, when you could post up, you could use him at both of the baseline. You know, both of the bases throughout the whole baseline within the 3-point. Now everybody's got to take a 3-point shot.
Yeah, it's the right.
Damn near.
It's the European influence into the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? American style big man is your power forwards, your centers, back to the bucket basketball where you have your up and unders, your drop steps, your hook moves. Yep. You know what I mean? But with the influence of the European players brought to you mainstream by Dirk out of Dallas, it's a different big man. Big man actually know how to handle the ball. Big man can pass the ball. Big man can shoot the ball. So the actual Shaq type, Will Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar big man is gone.
Yeah.
The only big man in the league right now that's productive, that has that type of mentality, is Joel Embiid.
Okay, I was going to say that was the only one I would say.
Now you have
what's his name?
Several big men in the league. They're just not the same.
Milwaukee. What's that?
Giannis.
Yeah, Giannis.
But Giannis is Giannis is like a 3.
Man, he can play the 4.
I mean, he can play the 4.
He doesn't have to.
He can play the 4 and the 5 because he's 7 foot.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, he's a 3.
You never used to see a 7-foot guy at the 3.
Not until Dirk.
Exactly.
Not until Dirk and then Kevin Durant.
Yeah. I mean, Durant.
Yeah.
Durant.
No, I'm sorry. I misspoke. It was Dirk and then
Garnett was
Garnett. Yeah. That was the name I was looking for.
Kevin Garnett.
It was Kevin Garnett, Stoudemire, and then the rush of all the big men.
Stoudemire, man, he never played consistent ball though. I mean, he was with us. He was with a decent team at the time, and then all of a sudden they flopped. And then I think that had a lot to do with it. Well, I think that had a lot to do with his whole career, though.
Because Steve Nash made Stoudemire's career.
Exactly.
Stoudemire made Steve Nash's career.
For the most part, yeah.
Well, he made it. He put it to another level.
Yeah, he gave him the ability to do what he needs to do.
Dirk put Steve Nash on the map, and Stoudemire made Steve Nash a back-to-back All-Star. I mean, a back-to-back MVP.
MVP, yeah, I agree. I just don't. I don't want to put Stoudemire up in that same talk with Nowitzki and Garnett.
But you have to, because Stoudemire's athleticism at the 4 completely changed how you played the 4.
No, see, that's where I think Garnett did.
Garnett did as well. Garnett gave you a more of a guard mentality, as in attacking the ball. But
what's that?
Yeah, I agree with you. That whole era, there was a couple of them.
The late 90s, early 2000s is when it started to evolve into a more of a catch and release type game.
Yeah, it evolved to more of a catch and shoot type game, guard oriented. The rule changes had a lot to do with it.
Yeah,
you took away a lot of the physical play, the hand checking for one, which allowed guards to keep small guards like Iverson and other guards like that, like Steph Curry. You wouldn't have. I like Steph's game. He's a phenomenal player. He's going to go down probably as the greatest shooter in the game. But in the 90s, I don't know if he'd have been that effective. He wouldn't have the hand check.
No, he wouldn't have, because the game was totally different back then, because you actually did use your big man. You move the ball around more so to get it towards the basket rather than an open shot on the perimeter. Nowadays, you're looking for that 3-point open shot. I mean, everybody has to have it nowadays. And
here's it, and I can break it down like this: as being an old school player and being a trainer and a coach of new school talent.
Yeah.
Here's the breakdown with the big man. In the 80s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s.
I don't remember the 70s, man.
Right? The 70s, the 80s, the 90s. The big man ran the floor.
Good night, Eli.
Good night, Eli. You ran the floor from block to block in your fast break or your transition play.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you ran the floor for the big man, and you pounded the ball into the big man because he ran the floor and he got position on another big or a smaller guard who is backpedaling for defensive transition.
Right.
Now, today's big man, they run the floor and go to the wings.
Yeah.
They go to the 3-point line.
Yep.
That's the difference. You know what I mean? And you got big men like Adams, McGee, Tristan Thompson. Those guys still have those big man principles where they run to the paint where they think the big man's supposed to go, and it gets them off, because you got the Dockage, you got the guy in Utah, you got the guy in Denver. These big guys from Europe that come back and they stop at the 3-point line and shoot the 3, and you're running back to the paint.
Right.
That's the big difference right now.
So, okay, let me ask you this. If you put a true big man in the 5 or even the 4, have both, actually 4 and 5 guys right there, boom. Your number 4, your number 5, both 7 foot tall. If you move them towards like the old style play of getting into the paint, working the block, working the baseline, would you be successful in this game now?
You can be.
But you got to do it right.
You can be, but you have to have outside shooting.
Oh, well, yeah, I agree with that, because obviously.
No, but your outside shooting can't come from your big man.
Exactly. Exactly.
You can do it. The closest team that is doing it right now is Philly. Because they do have, with the addition of Jimmy Butler, you do have a better outside shooting touch when you keep Marquez Folk off the floor.
I'm surprised, honestly, he's still there.
Yeah, with J.J. Redick and Butler, you do have, and I think there's a foreign guy they got in there. I can't remember his name. But they have the outside shooting where you can use Embiid to where you can get those shooting big man in foul trouble. There was debate that we had the last 2 weeks with Shaq saying that his Laker team, when they went three-peat, could beat these present Golden State Warriors. Which rules are you playing by?
And
If
that's
you're playing by
the difference.
If you're playing by the late 90s and the early 2000s
Big man
rules,
team's always going to win
if you're playing by those rules, LA is going to sweep.
every time.
But if you're playing by today's rules,
It's a little different.
Golden State will probably win in 7.
Yep.
And they're going to win in 7 because Shaq is powerful enough to where he's going to get those big men in foul trouble.
Yes.
That's the big thing. You got to be able to get those shooting big men in foul trouble.
So you know what time it is for the gas
Ken's
right
got to
now.
go to the bathroom, so we're
And
bringing in our guest.
We're going to bring in our music man, Chris Hyatt, to the scene. Chris, we appreciate the music, the intro, and the outro, and I'm going to give you a couple of minutes on the mic because I do got to pee.
Eventually, we're going to figure out how to get this intro in on our Facebook Live.
One of these days, we will.
One of these days, I think we got to update our equipment. So sponsors and advertisements, we're going to get this thing going. So you got to
put up for big head.
So he's got to reset. So everybody, listen. We got Chris Hyatt here. He is the guy who does our music for the intro and outro. We could give him a cool ass nickname, Father Time, Santa Eastside,
Ghetto Santa Claus.
Ghetto Santa Claus. So we're in the basketball section. So what's your
Well,
feel on our current?
I was
our current
listening to the conversation you guys have, and I was like, basketball's kind of changed how football did. I mean, and saying that, basketball used to be you get the big guy down low and bang it and get it dunked down low or whatnot. And football used to be, banging it with the run and run up the gut and stuff like that, where they both changed now, where basketball is all about the three-point shot and football is more about throwing the long bomb or something. So, I mean, all sports evolve, I guess you would say.
Right. Evolve with the times. The rules change. The athletic ability of the player changes.
True.
So all those factors do come into hand. And John had Mr. Buzzard had a great point. I mean, David Robinson did have a lot to do with the transition of the big man. I think David Robinson and Karl Malone both had that with the way they run the floor. But it comes back to my point that they ran the floor to space the floor. Karl Malone and David Robinson both ran to the block.
Yes.
David Robinson ran to the block to post. Karl Malone ran to the block to come up to set the screen and roll for John Stockton. Because if you watch their offense, on the transition, he always ran to the block, see if he can get a quick duck in. If not, his first move was to come up to the high post and set the screen for John Stockton. They go into the pick and roll.
Right. So basically, the big man was kind of setting up the offense.
Exactly. And with like David Robinson, even with the introduction of Tim Duncan, is that both of those guys still ran to the block before they did anything else. So it still comes back to my point. But then if you look at it now, when Dirk came into it, or Sasha Petrovic, Dragan Petrovic came into the mix, Dirk came into the mix, these guys, instead of running to the block, they ran to the wings. They ran to the corner for the three. They ran to the wings for the three.
And that's
so that changed everything.
You're always looking for the three.
Right. And that's what Shaq's time, he'd have been in trouble.
Yes.
But, you know what I mean? Okay, here's the three. Shaq's out of place. But when they come down on the other side, you got to bang with Shaq. And Shaq's going to put you in foul trouble. He'll get you in foul trouble before you hit enough threes to make it effective.
And that's vice versa. I mean, you take old school players and put them in today's game, they'd be in trouble. And you take today's players and put them in the old school game, they'd be in trouble. And it's just a different mentality of the game now.
And I agree. And I think that's how you differentiate, or whatever that damn word is.
Differentiate.
Yes. The difference between a great player and a good player. A great player, his game will his or her game will transition between any time.
Yes.
Like Jordan, he can play
today
any time. Doc, He can play in any time.
Yes.
Jerry West, he can play in any time.
Larry Bird.
That's what gives you the greatness status.
Yes.
Kobe,
I
Larry,
agree. I
playing
agree.
at Dirk. I think he can play in any time. But some of these guys nowadays, Jimmy Butler, Paul George,
Steph
Kevin
Curry.
Durant, Steph Curry. These guys are great, but you can't play it every time.
No, you put them in a back in the 80s with those games, they get embarrassed nightly.
We ain't gonna talk about Weber. I don't want to talk about Weber. Weber's terrible, and my hatred for Weber goes way more than in the NBA, way more than his terrible.
And this coming from a
commentating.
Michigan fan.
And this is reason why, because of the Michigan, how he did Michigan.
Yes.
You know what I mean? With the fact that you were a part of one of the most
Fab Five.
famed group of basketball players of all time, the Michigan Fab Five, and none of them talk to you.
No.
None of them talk to you because of your disloyalty to the university and the person that put you at that university.
I have to say, probably my favorite player out of the Fab Five would be Jalen Rose.
Yeah, mine was
think he's just
Jalen
a
because he was a
class
lefty.
I think he's a class act. I mean, you watch him and commentating on games and stuff. He's just a classy guy. I really like Jalen Rose. I liked his game. He had a nice game.
Yeah, he had that Stacey Augmon, Sleepy Floyd type game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked him. I wish he'd have won a championship.
Kind of a silent assassin.
Yeah. I mean, he was key to that Pacer run with Reggie when they went to the finals. He was pretty key. I like Jalen.
Ass, you ready to come back?
Hey, ass! You are actually on the air.
Yeah.
No, he's waiting
I'm
for
out.
you.
Yeah. I just have to say, 365 days exactly to the next Star Wars movie. Peace.
I thought he was going to say 12 and 4.
No, I told Damon earlier I'd be happy with the 9 and 7 that he predicted.
Like I said, 365 days to the next Star Wars movie.
God damn.
Looks like we're going to do a Star Wars premiere show.
Chris Hyatt has a big ass head.
But it is kind of thick.
I'm not going there.
I was never
I'm
mind.
not going there.
Bartender.
It's the beard.
But anyway, so that was that's kind of wrapping up segment 2 here at Black and White Sports.
Yeah. 802 South West Street Stadium Tavern every Wednesday night, 7:30.
Yep.
Tuesday night, Taco Tuesdays. Wednesday, obviously, we're here with the $4 burger and tots combo. And Thursday nights, they have the wing Thursdays, 35-cent wings. Carryout is denied. Dine in only, folks.
I'm sorry. I was just I'm giggling at John's comments about our talking about the basketball.
What's up, John Hines? There he is.
He's getting it in.
Yeah, he is. Look at him.
Yeah, I mean, I get some of the stuff that you're talking about. I agree. I do agree.
Best smack talker in.
You can't talk crap now like you did in the 90s.
No, you get technical real quick.
You can't do that.
You're the T.
Talking in the 90s was like it was on the playground.
That's it. And that was good ball. That was good ball.
Nowadays, it's like, oh my God, you breathed on me.
Oh my God, I'm flopping.
Floppy Flopperton.